Welcome, everybody, for some lettering for snail mail. We're really happy you're joining us, especially on the last day of Nurses Week. Happy birthday, Flo, right, for everybody? Couple things to keep in mind as we make our way through the evening tonight. We have, not that yet. Here we go. Couple things to keep in mind for the best trusted event experience. So first thing is good vibes, good times. We are here to have fun, and it's a safe space for you to do some great lettering, to mess up your lettering, to have some meditative practice while you letter, but it's here for you to be you. The second item is we want to hear you when you want to be heard. That means that staying muted until you want to say something, which is great. We want to hear you. You can also use the chat function, which is what we mentioned in the third piece there, which is have questions, we have answers. So use the chat function. And as Casey likes to say with all of our other virtual events, just don't take us to the bathroom with you, because that's really important. And then the last one, if you have feedback, please, please, please share. You can share during the event, publicly, privately, to me, Nicole Warshower, or Casey Smith. We would love to hear what you think. You're also going to get a very brief survey after the fact via email, and we would really love and appreciate it if you filled it out. And with that, we're ready to go. I want to introduce you to our amazing host and letterer and artist, Linda. She is a self-taught lettering artist and snail mail fanatic based in LA. By day, you'll find her working for Punkpost, which is personally one of my favorite businesses, which I'm sure she'll talk about. She's doodling and illustrating greeting cards or working on their blog. By night, Linda is writing letters to pen pals, selling vintage postage stamps on Etsy, or custom envelope addressing her colorful designs. And with that, I will stop sharing and let Linda share.
Hey everyone, I'm Linda. Can everybody hear me? Yes.
We can.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So again, I'm Linda. I'm a handwriting artist for Punkpost. And if you guys don't know what Punkpost is, it's basically, I guess we're kind of like an online greeting card company. So you shop our greeting cards through our app or through the website. And it's basically like browsing the card aisle at Target when you go there, except you do it virtually. You pick your card that you like, and then instead of you writing the message yourself, you type it out, and then it'll come to somebody like me who will hand letter the message for you, and then we put it in a cute little envelope that we also letter, and we send it out into the world for your recipient. So it's a great little app that, oh yeah, Punkpost, we have some Punkpost users. Yeah, it's a great little app. It's, I think it's really great for practicing gratitude too, because I always forget to send my own thank you notes, and I'll use Punkpost because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to go get a card. I don't have time to write it. So I use the app a lot to send out little messages that I intend to send, but sometimes don't have the time to do. But yeah, so I've been working for Punkpost for a few years now, almost 4 years, something like that. And today we're gonna go through this lettering worksheet that I created probably 2 years ago. So you'll notice that my style has changed a little bit from what you see on this lettering sheet now, but I will show you both styles. And as you practice lettering more and get more into it, you'll find that you'll change your style as well. So, you know, this is just a good place to start. It's not something that you have to do exactly the way that I do it. Everyone does it differently, and that's the great part about lettering and, you know, the arts. Everyone kind of just does it the way they want to do it. Okay, so the suggested tool for this class are these Crayola super tip markers, but really you can use any marker with kind of a flat edge. So this isn't brush lettering, which uses the thick downstroke and a thin upstroke, it's really just one big fat line. And what I usually do is use the flat edge of it and put enough pressure to create one big fat stroke, kind of like that. Yeah. So unlike brush lettering, where you do like a thin upstroke and then a thick downstroke, this is just one big fat stroke, and it's my personal style. I'm just going to go through a little bit of this worksheet, and then you guys can kind of practice it on your own at home, because it does take practice to improve your style. So I will just go through some of it, and then after I go through some of it, I'll demo a little mail art envelope that you can use your new lettering on. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to just type it in and I can see it and I'll answer it as I go ahead. But so for this A, this capital A, I just start at the top, angle down one flat stroke, start at the top here again, go to the side, and then a little swoosh. And you want to go kind of slow and purposeful strokes. And you want to put enough pressure on it that it's giving you these fat strokes. And also you'll see that the tip of your marker will start to kind of curve up on one side because of the pressure that you're applying to it. B, you go down, curve up and down, and loop around, down, up, and loop around. These days I'm making the loops a little smaller. So you'll probably see my bees more like this. And that's kind of just a personal preference. So you can either connect the loop at the end, like this, or keep it open. It's really up to you. Okay, these are pretty easy, nothing too fancy. I also usually like my letters straight up and down. I don't really give a slant to it. But of course, feel free to slant it if you like. Okay. Now same with the D, down, one fat stroke down, up, down, and around, one fat stroke down. And you can either start at the bottom here and make it one continual stroke, or start up here in the middle. Oops, that one's a little flat there. So down, up, and out, down, up, out, down, up, out. These E's here is a little curve, stop, curve, up. And if you're a beginner or new to lettering, it's really useful to break up the strokes instead of making it one motion, which you will get to eventually. But in the beginning, it's great to, mentally and for your kind of muscle memory to do the stroke, stop, and then do the next stroke, stop. So stroke, curve, it up, go out, small curve, big curve, small curve, big curve. And this F, one fat stroke down, side to side, one fat stroke down, side to side, side to side. So for this F, I'm making one fat stroke down, and then stroke from the side with a little curve. Stroke down, side to side. All right, you guys doing okay? Okay, for this G, it's sort of a misshapen oval that goes up like that, first stroke, then down, in and out. Funny little oval, down, in and out. Funny little oval, down, in and out. And notice how slowly I'm going and how purposefully I'm making each stroke. You want to go really slow in the beginning. Because you're trying to teach your hand where it should be going. Just like dancing. You do it slowly in the beginning, and then as your muscle memory picks it up, you can do it faster and better. Okay, so these H's, just go down, loop up, loop at the top, and up like that. So bottom loop, cross, top loop, down and out. If you don't like these H's, which I don't really do them like this anymore, I tend not to do the big ovals anymore, just because they do take up a lot of space. So if I'm trying to fit more letters onto a small amount of space, I will do letters without the loops. So just like that. Pretty simple. One stroke down, another stroke down, side to side. Or if you like the big loops, feel free to do that. Down. Then you can even add this little thing to the top to even it out. Okay. Eyes are pretty simple. Down, side, side, down, side, side, down, side to side, down, side to side. All right, let's look at these J's. Big loop at the bottom, side to side at the top. Or if you want it a little straighter, you can go just like that, side to side. I like to do them like this now. Down, loop, out, side to side. All right, keys, just down, stroke, make a loop in the middle, and bring it out. Down stroke, loop the middle, bring it out. Or if you don't like that loop in the middle, just downstroke, connect it in the middle, bring it out. Downstroke, okay, with the loop. Downstroke, okay, without the loop. Okay. L's are big loop up top, smaller loop at the bottom. Big loop at the top, bring it down, little loop at the bottom, bring it out. Start sort of in the middle, big loop at the top, small loop at the bottom, bring it out. Big loop, little loop, out. Big loop, little loop, and out. All right. Okay, so my M's are a little unique, I guess. I do a little hump and then a big hump. Of course, you can do your M's however you want. You can do a bigger hump and then a smaller hump, or you can do it like this, or no hump in the middle. It's really up to you, but this is how I do my M's. Down, up, loop, up, and out. Downstroke, little bump, big bump. And I like this blank space in the middle here. But of course, you can also do it with no blank space. Just looks a little bit different. M with loop. M's out. Okay. N, downstroke, up and out. 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 All right. Okay, so these O's, for the O's, I like to start right here. So it's not the middle, but it's a little bit above the middle. Start your oval there, bring it down, up, connect where you started, and then bring it out. So start here, bring it down, up, connect, cross over. Now, you can also make a smaller loop at the top like that if you like. But for the capital O's, I like to make the cross at the bottom here because then it'll be easier to connect words to it later. So I'll start it at the top, bring it up, bring it over, and up. Just like that. Okay. Let's do this P. Down, and out, connected, bring it out. Downstroke, up, out, back in, connect it, and bring it out. Downstroke, bring it up, back in and out. Downstroke, up, back in and out. This Q is sort of a slanted oval at the top here, halfway. Bring it up, downstroke, connected in the middle here, and bring it out. Oval, middle, out. Oval, down, connect, and out. Oval, down, connect, and out. Oval, down, connect, and out. All right. R's will bring it down. Make a loop in the middle. Bring it out. Down. Loop in the middle. Bring it out. And if you don't want that loop, just bring it down. Connect it there. Bring it out. Down. Loop. Out. Down. Connect. Up. Okay. The S's are my favorite. Big loop at the top. Smaller loop at the bottom. Bring it out. Big curve at the top. Small one at the bottom. And then bring it out. Big, small, out. Big, small, out. Big, small, out. Cool. All right. It's T. Downstroke with a little curve at the bottom. And side to side stroke. Downstroke with a curve, side to side. Downstroke with a curve, side to side. Or you can just do straight downstroke, side to side. Straight down, side to side. Or down with a curve, side to side. Okay, let's do this U. Down, curve it up. bring it down and curve it out. Down, curve up, down, and down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up. All right. Okay. We'll finish this sheet and then I will go on to demo the envelope and how we can connect all the letters. Okay, so for the V, slant to the bottom, bring it up, and make a big loop. Slanted downstroke, slanted upstroke with a curve. And if you don't like that little loop, up, up, and a little curve. Or with the loop, and without the loop. All right. So these W's are kind of like inverted M's. Down, bring it up, down, up, and loop. Down, up, down, and loop. Or if you don't want the loop, okay. And if you don't want that space in the middle, go halfway, connect, and bring it up. So you have some different choices with that one. X. Well, let's find X the hardest. And you can start at the top here and go down and up. Or some people find it easier to start over here, up and down. Cross, up and down. Cross. You can start up here, go down that way. Okay. These Y's, like a little U, bring it up, down stroke, loop it in, and bring it out. Little U, down stroke, loop it in, bring it out. Little U, down, loop, out. Little U, down, in and out. Okay, last one. This is Z. We'll do a little curve past the middle, then a bigger curve out, and in and up. Curve past the middle, up, curve in and out. Curve past the middle, a little out there, and up. Okay, awesome. So that's the capitals, and you can do the lowercase ones on your own. A lot of them are pretty similar. So like these D's have this loop. You can of course do it without the loop. It would just be like that. But I encourage you to print out the sheets as often as you like and just kind of practice and maybe add your own flair to it. If you like to add some flourishings, try that out. Um, yeah, kind of just make it your own. Okay, so now the fun part, we're gonna make this little nail art envelope. I've already kind of pre-addressed it. And this is like the template that I usually use when I'm making a card for Punkpost. And then I'm gonna put a stamp on it. Just so I can see how much space I have for the name. Because I don't want to write the name and then have the stamp go over the top of it and cover the art. That's never fun. So I'm going to write, I'm just going to write Casey's name since I think it'll fit in here pretty nicely. Start maybe here. Mm, Y. When I write the name, I like to kind of play with the heights to make it a little bit more interesting, give it more of a little bounce. That. Okay. So we have the basic letters that we learned with the lettering sheets. And now I'll show you a little really fun easy technique to make it into bubble letters. So we have these flat edges here. And then now I'm just going to take the tip of my marker and make a little loop at the bottom, at all the flat edges there. So what this does is it just rounds out all the corners like that. To soften it up a bit. And this will give it kind of like a bubbly look. So I just round out all the corners like that. And then I like to go back and touch everything up and give it a kind of a second layer of color to give it a more saturated color. And when I'm doing this, I can also kind of see where I want to fix things. Just fill that in like that. Okay, it's already looking bubbly. Okay, so we've got it all bubbled. And now you can use any kind of colored marker or gray marker, but I'm using this one. It's called a midliner. It's actually a highlighter, but I like to use the gray to add in shadows. But of course, if you have a gray Crayola super tip, that will work well too. Or even if you want to use like a lighter shade of pink or any other color that you think will go well with the red, you can totally do that too. So I'm going to take the second color, the shading color, and give it a shadow. Now, if you don't know where to put your shadows, just think of the sun is either on the left or the right. And so if the sun is on your left, the shadow will be on the right. So if the sun is over here for me, all my shadows are going to go on the right side of the letters. So put that in there. Like that. And just keep it all to one side. If you put some on the left side of your letters too, it'll look a little bit confusing and your eyes won't recognize it as being a shadow. I like to add this shadow in just to give it more depth. It'll help your letters pop off the page. It's a lot of fun to do it with different colors, not just gray. So you can experiment with that. And see how different it's already looking, Casey versus Smith. And that's just because we put in a little bit of a shadow. I like to get the bottom of the letters too. Okay, so now we have our shadow in. Now I'm going to use this Uniball Signal white gel pen. This is my favorite white gel pen, but obviously you can use any kind of gel pen that you want, and it doesn't have to be white either. A pretty color with this would be like a gold gel pen or something like that, or even like a really pink opaque one. So to give it even more depth, I'm going to just take my white marker and give it a little bit of highlight. Or I'm sorry, my white gel pen. Give it a highlight down the sides. So any downstrokes you see, I'm going to give it a highlight. Just like that. This little curve too, and this little curve. You can see it's already starting to pop a lot more. Down. There's the downstroke, so I'll put a highlight all the way down here. Go. And for this S here, to the side. Down. voila. So from this very simple kind of basic lettering that we did with just the flat edge of a Crayola marker, you can go in, round out the edges of it to make it bubbly, put in a gray shadow, give it more depth, and then for even more depth, use a white gel pen or other light colored pen to give it a highlight, and it will pop off of your envelope. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep decorating. I think I'm gonna add some of those flowers that I really like. So I'm just taking this pink pen, and when I'm adding decorations to an envelope, I really want to stay away from the address. I want to keep this entire area from here down clear, because when the envelope goes through the USPS sorting machine, the machine is going to read it from the bottom up. So it's going to read this zip code number first, and then sort it accordingly, and then it's going to sort it according to the street number. So you want to keep this area clear, because if there's too much decoration around it, the machines won't be able to read it, and it'll just get lost in the USPS abyss. And we don't want that to happen to your beautiful envelope. So I'm going to stay clear of this area down here. And I already wrote this out in a black pen because that's probably the best pen color to use. You definitely do not want to use like any kind of red shades, because the machines won't be able to read it. But you can get crazy with the names, because the machines don't really need the name to get your envelope to the correct address. Okay, so I'm going to do some flower clusters, and they seem kind of complicated, but they're really not. Just make these little circles. I usually do a cluster of 2 or 3, maybe even more. Kind of just depends. Depends on how the name comes out. Then I'll do a big one here, a little one here, another one there. That looks good. Maybe I'll put one here too. Okay, so now I have the base of my flowers down. I'm going to take a green felt tip pen. You can use any green felt tip pen. You can even use the tip of your Crayola Super Tips. And I'm going to put in some little leaves. Really simple little leaves like that. One at the top, 2 coming out. And I think down here I want it to curve a little differently. So I'll do that. And maybe I'll do it like this. Okay, and then this needs a little something down here. And I think this one to here. So it's just kind of trial and error. See where things fall and make the best decision you can at the moment. I think I'll have it go this way, just to give it some more movement. I don't like to have it all going the same direction, because it makes it kind of flat and kind of boring. Okay, so I'm going to take another green felt tip marker, just a lighter green, and I'm going to put in some little leaves, very simple little leaves. I'm putting it here. there. There. And there's kind of a hole here, so definitely gonna put some there. Just like that, to fill it up. That. Maybe this way. Okay, cool. And for insides of the flower, it's just a very simple little swirl. It can be as neat as you want, it can be as messy as you want. Okay, so we have little flower clusters. Then you want to add a little more to it, definitely can. I mean, sometimes I just have to stop myself because I can just keep adding things and adding things. So it's just a little brown fine liner. I'm adding a different kind of foliage, I guess. But just gives it a little bit more, a little something more to it. And it also helps me fill up some of this white space. That. I'll put one here. Okay. And then I always like to add little polka dots. They seem a little silly, but they add a lot. And it's another opportunity for me to add some color, which I love. Yeah. And then you'll also notice that I put the return address up here really small. Now you can also add it to the back of the envelope. Like I've seen people add it, to the flap of the envelope, which is okay too. The only problem with that is if your envelope goes into the sorting machine upside down for some reason, the machine's not going to know that it's upside down, and it's just going to read that address as the recipient address, and that's how it's going to get sorted. So sometimes I've had mail returned to me because I've put my return address on the back. So instead of doing that, I just put it at the top really small, and it leaves me enough space for the rest of the envelope. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or if you want to see something else, we have about 10 minutes left, so can do somebody's name, or is there any questions? Okay, I will. Davina, is that how you say it? Davina? Okay, let me do your name, Davina. I will do it in the same style, but I'll just do it in a different color. Okay, so remember our D's, downstroke, up, move it out, the I, E, and A. Okay, so again, I'm just going to go in and very simply round out the ends of the letters. All these little things don't seem like much when you're doing it, but the end result is very nice. So I'll go through to add a second layer as well. Just like to make sure that the coloring is even. All right, okay. So the name is nice and bubbly. I'm gonna take this gray marker, or again, you can use any color you want. You can even use like a lighter purple. I'm sorry, like a pastel-y purple. That would look really nice. And I'm just gonna add in my shadow. I like to do the shadow on the right side. That's just my personal preference. But you can absolutely do it on the left as well, or instead of. Just remember to keep it all on one side, whichever side you choose. And get the bottoms of the letters too. All right. And I'm going to take my white gel pen down the sides to add a highlight. And where you're doing like a downstroke, usually you want to add a highlight, this little curve in there. And voila. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little florals to it. Now, since I put them down here, I'm going to go over here and put the next flower cluster just to keep it balanced. They don't have to be perfect circles. Okay. Then I'm going to add little garlands or stems, whatever you want to call it. Take another shade of green. Add some interest to it with the different colors, shades. Okay. I'm also going to add this. I don't even know what to call this, but I like to add it to give it a little more interest. Okay, looks pretty good. Take my black pen, give it some middle. And the final touches. Voila. And that's it. All right.
This is
That's really it
beautiful,
for me.
Linda. Thank you
Thank you.
so much. I hope
Yeah.
you all enjoyed this. This was such a nice respite from the day. Um, they're going to share, I know that some folks from Punkpost are going to share where you can get these markers. I think Brenna just did. You can also get any of the downloads from Punkpost, punkpost.com/downloads. I put it in earlier. And again, Linda, you have been a total treasure tonight. Thank you so much. And thank you
You're
everyone who joined
welcome.
us. We are going to try to snip up this recording and put it on our YouTube channel as well. And again, this concludes Nurses Week virtual events, but we're going to have a lot more. Probably we're aiming for 2 to 4 per month. So you can find something that maybe strikes your fancy, and we're open to any and all suggestions and feedback. And just really thank you so much. And thank you to Punkpost. If you haven't downloaded their app, again, it's one of my personal favorites. I've been using it for like 4 or 5 years at this point, if that's even how long they've been around. So thank you all again. Have a great evening and good night.